It was started on June 12th, 1995, and it's called The Bee is in Heat. Now, I think I want to point things out beforehand, is that my friend, best friend at the time, Bad A, this is when she had run off to Chico with her boyfriend at the time and basically run away from home. And then, I knew where she was, I knew what she was doing, but her parents didn't, so she basically ran away to be with this guy that was like in his 20s at the time. And we thought it was kind of romantic, but it was bad. It was not good. And so I think I was writing, I think this girl is partly inspired by her.
Flipping through the pages of my old journals, with every turn another memory.
Hello, and welcome to the 73rd episode of Journaling Through the Years. My name is Leah Liz, and this is a series on my channel wherein I read from my journals that I've been writing in since I've been old enough to hold a pen or a pencil. Who uses a pencil anymore? I barely use pencils. and then I talk about them. And today we're going to start a short story that I was writing, and it's quite long, so I'm going to break it up between the next three sessions. So I'll read a little today, and then a little the following week, and then hopefully finish it the final week, the final of that fourth time. Who knows? It's I remember writing it, and we'll talk about what possibly inspired it, and I don't think I ever finished it. So maybe it's something for me to look back and maybe have fun with. So before we get into it, let's get the business out of the way. We have the merch, Jesus Loves Queer. I meant recovery equals sexy. And the Timekeys fan fiction, the Timekeys band shirt, and as well as the shirt with the First Doctor kind of cartoon version. We have other things that you can check out. You can watch the Nate and Laura web series on the Nate and Laura channel. The Timekeys fan fiction, that's got his own channel. We've got the Explore with Ashley Leigh, as well as a lot of other things that a lot of other short films and stuff to watch here on this channel. We've got a podcast. Right now, it's part of the Racky Podcast Network, and right now the one that's the most current is called the Fangirl Hour, where I interview a different person each week, each episode, about their favorite fandom, and we talk about it and kind of geek out. We fangirl over it, basically. And then the other one that I'm doing that's offshoot is a rewatch podcast where I'm currently rewatching Night Court from the 80s and then early 90s, and then I'll move forward and do the episode of, what's it called? Tina Fey. What is it? 30 Rock. And then from there, the newer series. So there you go. So you can check that out. That's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcasts. It's in a lot of places, basically. And then you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/CafeGirl Thriving Artists, as well as the website for the services, the offers, and some other things. All the links are down below, so check those out at your leisure. And the website, www.cafegirlproductionsinc.com. So let's get into the story. It was started on June 12th, 1995, and it's called The Bee is in Heat. Now, I think I want to point things out beforehand, is that my friend, best friend at the time, Bad A, this is when she had run off to Chico with her boyfriend at the time and basically run away from home. And then, I knew where she was, I knew what she was doing, but her parents didn't, so she basically ran away to be with this guy that was like in his 20s at the time. And, we thought it was kind of romantic, but it was bad. It was not good. And so I think I was writing I think this girl is partly inspired by her. I think there's also a part of me, I think I was, the medicine, the antidepressant might have been working. And I think also I didn't have to think about the situation where my boyfriend, Wesley, Princess Bride boyfriend, was now dating my so-called best friend. I didn't have to see them until fall, so I wasn't dealing with it. And I think I was also writing something that made me the more powerful one, and also a sense that this girl that I'm writing about closed her heart off to love and just ran away from it. I just think that's interesting. I had originally started it and crossed off the name of my first boyfriend, who we knew as Bird. I crossed that off, so I don't know if he was back in my life or I talk about that there's a lover that this character goes to see that she had known from before. I don't know. Interesting. So it starts. I sit on the hard wooden chair and stare at my cards, trying to decide on my move. I guess I'm playing poker, or the person is. Yet my mind is not all focused on the cards or the game. It drifts to the fellow, the fellow next to me, and I wonder how I could make him fall deeply and madly in love with me again. Okay, so here's what I was trying to point out, is that there was a sense that I had lost my depression, and I was depressed because I had been broken up with now twice, and I felt so abandoned and so hurt, and then having a friend run away to Chico, and having another friend decide that it was cool to date my boyfriend an hour after I had dated him, or he had broken up with me. So it was this sense of like, I think as I'm writing this, if everybody's going to leave, I'm just going to take advantage of people. If that's what they're going to do to me, then I'll do that to them in a story form. Yet I like him only for the attention he'll give me. Relationship addiction, it makes me feel better inside, and not for the actual interest of liking him. Yeah, I'm not going to go deeper than that. I'm only going to like it what he gives to me. He makes me feel good by looking at me. I feel beautiful. But when he's not looking at me, I don't want anything more than that, because I'm afraid of letting someone close. I have had my share of liking guys, and I always end up with a wounded heart. So this is me, or a version of me in fiction form. Maybe I have always liked guys just for attention. They give me. I forgot to write give. I think I was writing so fast. Or rather, anyone of any sex giving me some sort of attention is just enough for me. I stare hard at my cards. All hearts. The game of love is a tricky one, too difficult for me to handle. So I lay it beside me, thinking I shall never want to play it again. I like that allegory. I just want to say that. I like that. She's looking at the cards, probably playing poker, but she's got all hearts, and she's thinking about love. I like that. I choose the game of passion and lust now. It's interesting that at this time, and I think what a lot of people think in society is that passion and lust alone are not a facet of love. But if you read, like C.S. Lewis wrote the book Four Loves, and Eros, which is kind of erotic love, is a form of love. I think it can be taken out of context of love. A person like me, I can't have sex without having some emotional, intellectual conversation or connection. But there are people that can, and I think that's been a sense devalued, that people can just have sex and that's it, and that's the relationship. And I say relationship in this loose form of any connection is relating, and it's been devalued as like almost like prostitution is just like I'm paying for sex or something. And Eros or erotic love has lost its love. And so this character was saying, well, I'm just going to have passion and lust. I'm not going to think about love anymore. And I think I was writing that in, trying to do that for myself, and it would never work, of course. He glances sideways at me at first, and then I feel his blue eyes steadily looking my body over, as if taking all of me in and softening as it reaches my face. I look at him and notice his eyes. I wonder if M-Bird was sort of back in my life for a little bit, or I was just wishing and hoping. I sense a love from beyond his outer layer, a love and desire for myself. Okay, so I wanted someone to love me, and I didn't want to love them back because I'd been hurt. Could this man creature be falling in love with me? Ha-ha, I say. I shall ruin him yet. See what I mean? I didn't and I'm writing it in fiction form. Later, I lie in his bed in the small room with pictures of family members all over the walls. He had pictures of family members all over his walls. What? I don't know why that's funny. He tells me of all his goals and dreams. I am a part of each one, and he would do anything for me. Okay, so that would happen in my life. I would be with someone and they would want to talk about this part of their lives, more than sex at times, and I would know how to answer because I didn't know, it wasn't valued in me to have anything other than just what other people told me I should do. And I'm writing that. I listen, yet I think I have heard all this before. This crap before. Okay. I mean, I'm just devaluing him, and because I feel devalued. And I'm saying this, I know this is a short story, but I see that there's a lot of parallels in everything I write, creatively, fiction-wise. There's always an element of my own truth. It's how I find healing, and it's always been the case. We kiss and start to make out slowly. We become more intimate. Now we were having sex. I was a virgin at this time. It's now we're having sex. It just kind of happens, because you'd see it in movies and it would just be now we're having sex. They'd make out and then it would just cut to them lying in bed naked. And as a kid, you didn't know anything. And especially in the 90s, they didn't really get that. As they get a little bit more, they kind of show things a little bit more than they did back then, because of censorship. So this is, now we're having sex, slow, long, passionate sex, like the kind you've seen in movies, because at this point, that's all I'd seen. It is satisfying to myself, yet he groans and screams and calls out, "I love you." So I wanted the guy to love me, and me not to love him, because it was safer. And I hope his roommates across the hall does not hear. Okay, and also roommate, this guy must have been early, high school or college age or something, that he had a roommate. I didn't know about roommates then. It was just kind of this fantasy of ooh, I wonder what that'll be like. I hope the roommate across the hall does not hear. He might become jealous and come storming into the room within a drunken rage, demanding his share of me as well. What roommate would hear his other roommate having sex and just be let me have a piece? Okay. He has never been much, okay, but this idea of having men desire me and me not really wanting them, because here we go. He has never been much of a turn on to me and had nothing much to offer. No weed, no money, no car. The basic life necessities. Okay, so I'm really trying to this person, this character that I'm creating is maybe the me I want. That all I want is just to take advantage of somebody, and I don't really, I want it to be that. And I think it's also a version of Bad A. So maybe there was a part of me that wanted to be like her, because she made it look desirable. Now this lover I am with quiets down and pulls me towards him. I love you, he whispers. Good, I say and smile, proud of my accomplishment. Now I think to myself, he is mine, all mine. His smile. He smiles, perhaps thinking I feel the same. Ha! What a fool. Okay. I sit out on the curb of a sidewalk and light up a cigarette. It's early in the morning, about 5:30. My mind races with confusing thoughts I cannot figure out. I think that was an idea that, I think everyone has kind of racing thoughts at time, no matter what. If, everybody goes through hardships, everybody suffers. But I think that there's a sense of, I was depressed and eventually on Ritalin for a diagnosis that I didn't have, and eventually would have a break with bipolar and get diagnosed. Well, after the initial break, maybe 6 years later. But racing thoughts is a part of that. Not being able to sleep or calm yourself because of that. So I think I'm adding that element there of myself and what I was dealing with at the time. So I sit out here all alone trying to make sense of this jumble inside my head. That sounds personally familiar. My lover and his roommate could be up soon. My lover and his roommate. The roommate hungover and sick from last night's escapades. Like barging into rooms. Why would anyone do that? That wasn't like a criminal. Like, this roommate should be locked up if he does that on a regular basis. I shall be careful, for he may be violent. This roommate needs to go. This lover of mine needs to get rid of the roommate. My lover said he loved, especially because the lover is like, I love you, and then the roommate's like, bleh. Okay, sorry. My lover said he loved me, and now I know I could get anything from him. For love is strong, forever, and pure, and anyone will do anything for love. Yet, love can really hurt. I shall remember that and try not to be too cruel to him. I'm as bad as the roommate in an emotional way, or this character. But why should I not be too cruel? What do his feelings matter to me? I love that that creatively I'm kind of showing the confusing jumble of emotions, and that creatively it's showing this character and the confusion they have because of their need to run, but they also have all this pain they're not dealing with. That's a good writer. Could I possibly care for this creature? That's like kind of a poetic, like I had a guy friend that I had a fling with one summer back when I was just out of college. And he used to call women females. like it wasn't, it sounds wrong. It wasn't, I never felt devalued by it. It was almost like a weird kind of spiritual way of being like females. So it's like, that's the kind of thing, this creature. It's also deep, I don't know. Could I be falling in love with him after just like one night? Well, I guess they've been together before. I don't know. Of course not. I shall never fall in love with anyone. I am just liking the attention given to me. I like the jumble of thoughts going on. I was really in love once. He was a beautiful creature. The one I loved. What was he, like the Beauty and the Beast kid guy? The only one I still love. He had jet black hair, light complexion, bright blue eyes, and just an all-around wonderful being. So it's interesting that even in this story, I'm objectifying a person as either a creature or someone just a sexual, or like a god in a sense. Like he was a beautiful being, a being of light. He wasn't just a guy or a man. He was, he was something that could, was the rescue. And I love that this character is not writing about the things they did together. I love just being with him, yet he left me brokenhearted and fell in love with another. God, I think, that was a long time ago. Absent-mindedly, I reach in my pocket and feel around. There is a cold silver quarter, just enough for a phone call. I suddenly feel the urge to get up and walk down the street to the 7-Eleven and use the phone to call my old lover and get the hell out of here. Is that the being? I don't know yet. Okay. For those that are young, she was going down the street to use a phone. There used to be these things in the olden days called payphones, and you'd have to use a quarter. At the time, it was a quarter. Years later, it would become, you would either use a phone card. Wow, that's even outdated now. Are they? I don't know. I don't think there's phone cards anymore. You'd have to buy a phone card like at 7-Eleven, and you'd put money on them, and then you could make calls until the money ran out, and then you have to do that again. Kind of a precursor to cell phone, but on a little card form, if you think about it. And then there was also... cell phones, payphones, if they're local, you could pay $1 or a quarter. And then that was even a step up because it used to be a dime. And then it went to a quarter and it was like, oh my God, it's getting expensive. And then it gradually went up farther than that until people were like, we don't use payphones anymore. What the heck are these? If you wanted to call long distance in the early days or whatever, when it was a quarter, it would be more than that. It'd have to be like $1 or something. But yeah, so I'll put a picture of what a payphone looks like in its variations. There was the phone boxes, telephone box, or there was just the one that was like hanging on a wall. I miss them. I don't know why. Just the old days. Yet I sigh. I would leave my lover. I'd leave this lover for another lover. I would just leave, like I always do. Or this person, well, me, and like emotionally I leave when it gets too intense. And this is a picture of that. Yet I sigh. I would leave my lover peacefully slumbering in his bed, knowing that I was gone until he looked up. Until he woke up. Until he looked up. Until he woke up. I think of his sadness and something pulls at my heartstrings. I groan. I am getting too close after just one night. I get up and push myself down the street, dropping my cigarette to the ground and stepping on it. Halfway down the street, I feel my eyes overflow with tears and trickle down my cheeks. A lump rises to my throat from my heart. I am ridiculous, but how could I be such a cruel, thoughtless creature? I'm a creature now, to my lover. A blue car drives by with children in the back seat. They all peer out the back window at me with wide, fearful eyes. What is going on with the kids? Why are they so scared? What? And why are they up at 5:30 in the morning? What is going on with the kids? Haven't they ever seen a woman cry? I exclaimed silently. I don't think the kids are scared because of the woman crying. Well, perhaps they haven't. They drive on down the road, and I wave to let them know I'm okay. They wave back, and they're gone. Like they care. They're like, help us! Like, help us! And I'm like, hey! At 7-Eleven, there is a payphone right outside the door. I approach it and place the receiver against my ear. It's cold and wet with frost. I put the quarter in the slot and dial the number. Hello, says the soft, quiet male voice on the phone. My heart races. It is him. I play it cool. Hi, is Jake around? I am silent and wish that it wasn't so early. Right. Speaking. Who's calling this early? He inquired. Hi, this is Michelle. Ooh, her name is Michelle. How have you been? At like 5:30 in the morning. So how have you been? I asked, now giddy with a rush of warm affection. Could be better, he said quietly. Couldn't, like ex-girlfriends calling at 5:30 in the morning. Oh, why's that? If you don't mind my asking, I say. My girlfriend and I broke up last night. Things just weren't working out for us. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, did I wake you up? No, I have been up all night. There was a silence. I didn't know what to say, and I waited for him to speak, but finally I say, hey, would you like to go on a journey with me? How do we get around on this journey? Some kind of transportation. I have my license, but no car. He laughed. He laughed. I have a car, he sighed. I'll go on a journey with you. Got any money? A little. I'll meet you at the 7-Eleven at 9:30, okay? What? Okay. I have to wait that long? What do you have to wait for? I have to wait to see you. Oh, God. Just get here and be here at 9:30. I have to go now and get something. Bye. I hung up before I could hear his goodbye, and plodded down the street in the direction I'd come from. I needed to get my backpack. I reached the house and entered as silent as possible. Someone was taking a shower. I silently tiptoed down the hallway lined with pictures of strange, happy people. What is this house with pictures everywhere? Like, why this house has pictures? I had never met strange and happy people. I'd never met. How do I know they're strange? They're just strange to me, I guess. And it's strange that they're happy for no reason. And opened up my lover's doorway. He was sprawled all over his bed, sleeping like a baby. Babies don't sleep sprawled all over. Obviously, his roommate was taking a shower. Well, obviously. My small blue backpack sat on the chair next to the window that was across the room. I hesitated and then walked across the dark room and grabbed my backpack. I walked over to the sleeping face of his soft and innocent. How I will miss him. Perhaps I will be back to see him again, when and if I shall return. At my feet lay a gray and black flannel shirt of his. Hey, I had that. That was something I had. I don't know where I got it. I think it was a boyfriend. I think it was Imbird. He's like, keep it. I pick it up as a souvenir of him. Yeah. I kiss him gently on the forehead and depart from his room. I love souvenirs of boyfriends that I used to have, and like even after breaking up, there's kind of a keepsake with that. That's so sweet. I don't think I would do that anymore, but when you were a kid, you'd have like the boyfriends would give you something, either article of clothing or some kind of thing, and you'd be like, oh, I'm going to keep this forever. And you'd break up and you'd be like, oh. I kiss him gently on the forehead and depart from his room. Good luck, I whisper. I shall return. Good luck. Good luck. Like, good luck. Good luck with me being out of your life. There's a small wooden coffee table by the front door. A box of Marlboro cigarettes lay on the middle. It's the roommate's. I hate the roommate. I reach over, grab it, and slip it into my backpack. Now I am out the door and running down the street, my sneakers pounding on the cement like my heart pounding in my chest. Like that. A metaphor or simile. Simile is like, and metaphor is. Yeah. I don't know why I am running. It just struck me as a fancy to run as fast as I could down the street. Has it really? It's 5:30 and 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. It's not been 4 hours. I just went back and got the stuff. Now I'm going to have to wait for 4 hours. I feel as if I am being chased and I must run for my life. Perhaps it is the fact that I stole the roommate's cigarettes. This roommate is just so evil. I mean, go get another box of cigarettes at 7-Eleven. I don't know. And I'm afraid he'll come on a rampage after me. Or maybe my lover will awake, discover I'm missing, go looking for me, and follow me down the street. Whatever it is, I run until I feel as if I should pass out and have to sit down just a corner before the 7-Eleven. Okay. We're going to stop there. I'm going to point out I have to wait 4 hours, and the meantime, are the boyfriend and the lover and the roommate, maybe they don't care. Maybe they're going to wake up and they'll be like, I don't know where she is. She always leaves. Like, this is the kind of thing. Or maybe she'll be back later. Maybe she had to go to work. She had something to do. Who knows? But I'm going to leave with that. End with a catchphrase. You matter. Your life matters. You are loved. You are worthy of love. And always remember to love your thrive and find your sunshine. Bye.